Okay, guys, and welcome to the new season of the 25-26 EDM League, going on 18 years now. Probably the age of Tyreek, which is crazy because he's in the league. But anyways, as your new commissioner, I thought I should come out, give you a breakdown on how I feel about the divisions and how I feel about each of y'all's teams and the matchups of the week. So who's going to win and who's going to not, and how things might end up. So let's jump into this. All right, so in EDM North, we have Randy Marsh, Blake Popsowitz, pretty much my neighbor who lives a block and a half that way. We have Ye who have little faith, who was blessed before with multiple S's, but now he obviously, word came around, we are definitely doubting Twin, or I myself. I don't know if anybody else told them. We have Giant Rock Stars, so this division will be pretty interesting. Twin always has an awesome team. Obviously, Blake keeps up with the waiver wires, and Rue just has, I don't know, a lucky charm sometimes. So sometimes when you're not paying attention and you just change your players out, which Rue doesn't always do, you end up ahead. But I think it's going to be a tough division. I think that it's definitely going to be between these two. You never know, though, because Malik Neighbors could pop off and the whole Giants team could pop off for Rue. But I think Randy Marsh probably has the edge in this division. Right, in EDM West, let me get my pedo glasses on. Ugh. Oh, we have my longtime neighbor who moved in next door to me when I was probably about 10 years old, been playing Nintendo with forever, Brad Robertson, a little gray in his beard these days, but still doing great at drafting teams. We have myself, and we have Ty and Danon, and Ty, like I said, was probably not even born when the league was created, so they've been doing really well. They love the Lamar Jackson. I'll have to take a closer look at their team. Obviously, Brad's a pretty hard opponent. He's already spent $1, so he's active in the waiver wire. And then we have myself, and I like my team a lot. I think this division's pretty even, which is nice about our league because we never have to interchange people. So everyone's kind of been around and we know what to expect, but everybody's kind of been in that race. So it's a tough division. But I like it. I like my chances to beat Brad, but we'll see what happens. So, right, so EDM East, we have Ron Mexico, Direwolves, and the Kings. The Direwolves do pretty well. The Kings obviously have won multiple championships, but they finished last place quite a bit, or in the bottom 2 or 3 for the last 2 or 3 years, where I understand the motivation they want to be there, and that's probably how I'm the commissioner now, because it's tough losing. It might take one championship to bring Barry back into it, but I think this division is fairly even as far as competition, and I've been saying that about most of the divisions. I think this gives Barry a chance to maybe come back, but Direwolves and Ron Mexico definitely watched the waiver wire pretty well, and with Jeremy having a ton of the Baltimore Ravens, who are an explosive offense, I think that it's gonna be a really tight race. It's a coin flip, but I like Lamar Jackson, so I'm gonna put Ron Mexico on top of this division. In the South, we have Breezy Money. Okay. Okay, so in the EDM South, we have Breezy Money, the Hefty Sluggers, back-to-back championship winners over here. He is the Tom Brady of the league, essentially, and he's won the last 2, I believe, and he's been in the top 3 probably the last 4 years, so his draft, in my opinion, wasn't the greatest this year, and I think he even explained that to me himself when we spoke with each other. But this is fantasy football. We won't even know what's going to happen until week 1's kind of done and what things are doing. Breezy Money is active on the waiver wire, so is Barry's second team. So this is another tight division. I mean, I'm going to give the edge to Breezy Money. I think Hefty Sluggers has some work to do, and I think Barry, it's going to be a tight division, and Hefty Sluggers, as much as I hate to say it, he was the winner last year, but he might end up 3rd in this division. I think every game matters, and that's kind of why the schedule, having that schedule where you can play people in your division twice so that you can eliminate them, even if you end up with a 6-1 whatever record, you can still punch your way into playoffs. I think it's going to be a really tight division. I don't think they'll have that little of wins, but our league's pretty deep. So I'm going Breezy Money, Barry, second team, and the Hefty Sluggers. All right, so let's move on to matchups. So we'll start with my matchup against Brad. This is a rivalry week that I wasn't able to adjust, but most people will be playing someone in their division this week. So it's going to be a little tough. Dak Prescott definitely screwed me over, but I wouldn't say he screwed me over more than CeeDee Lamb did with all those drops. It was a frustrating game to watch. Jaden Daniels, this guy practices at 2 times virtual reality speed, and he also attributes all his moves to flag football, and you can see it out there. He doesn't take massive hits. He literally looks like he's dodging people who are trying to grab his flags. So yeah, as far as quarterbacks go, definitely Jaden Daniels is going to smash Dak Prescott. I wish I didn't have Dak Prescott. This is the only league that I took him in, but he didn't play a bad game, so I won't blame it on him. Drake London, obviously everybody thinks he's going to pop off every year with Michael Penix Jr. and that bullet arm. I think that he has a really good chance of doing that, so that's a great pick there. Mike Evans, 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns last season. Can't go wrong with that. He's never had less than 1,000 yards, so if I can get that kind of production out of him, I'm pretty sure he finished in the top 5 wide receivers with 11 touchdowns and 1,007 yards or something. George Pickens was out there today trying to act like Odell Beckham Jr., but he did kind of get a couple flags for the Cowboys, which helped out. And if they weren't feeding CeeDee Lamb, who dropped everything, Pickens could have had a way bigger night. I was going to play Xavier Worthy, but I heard he got murdered. And yeah, he's got that questionable status there. He got 0 points, so 4.5 points is better than 0. Jameson Williams, the speedster, who can't stay out of trouble off the field, is a great pick. He's developing really well in that Detroit offense. Saquon Barkley was my money pick. He didn't hit his projected, but he did what he was going to do. They fed him the rock. He busted into the end zone like crazy. Hoping the Madden curse doesn't hit him. But, yeah, Bucky Irving, on the other hand, is somebody that I really wanted. I wasn't willing to pay for him, but he was definitely high up there. I took a page out of Twins' book and took Alvin Kamara and Mike Evans. Kamara, low-key, always goes under the radar, but actually shows up, especially as a running back who can catch receptions. He is over 30 years old now, which definitely changes things, but it's better than an unproven rookie on a Chargers team that is actually sneaky good that people forget about all the time. So he didn't put up the points he should have, which is going to give me a chance maybe with Kamara to catch up a bit here. It looks like I'm behind there. I'm a 36% underdog. As far as tight ends go, it looks like Brad has the better tight end for sure. Trey McBride was 1 of 2. Brock Bowers or Trey McBride would have been obviously 1 and 2 as far as the best tight ends you could get. I know Brock Bowers set the rookie record for receptions, and Trey McBride actually wasn't very far behind him. So that's a great pick there. He's going to get targets. Evan Ingram, he's in a system at Denver with Bo Nix and Sean Payton, where Sean Payton actually makes tight ends like a priority of his system. So Jimmy Graham or Jeremy Shockey. So that's kind of why I took Evan Ingram. I really wanted David Njoku, but I missed out because Ty Denon saved all their money to steal him from me, and I think he's going to shine. As far as flexes go, though, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, the guy behind Tony Pollard, is out for 4 weeks. So I know I got 4 good weeks out of Tony Pollard, which is why I chose him so high. But he has a tough time finding the end zone. He's not the biggest back, but he is pretty speedy. I watched him when he was on Dallas, which is awesome. We got Emeka Egbuka, and he's an unproven rookie. I'm not really a guy to go after rookies, but with Chris Godwin gone for who knows how long, this guy's been shining. A lot of fantasy experts say that he's going to be incredible. So that's a tough one there, but I would take Tony Pollard over Egbuka for sure in my flex, and the points kind of show that there as well. Dicker the kicker obviously got some points, and he has that great name that everybody loves. he's pretty consistent. I think he's in the top 5 kickers for projected points, which is why I grabbed him. Chris Boswell's an interesting choice. I'm not sure what's going to happen over in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers, but I mean, he's a reliable kicker. I don't know if he'll get. Let's see. New York Giants are going to be out to kill Aaron Rodgers, so yeah, there might be a lot of kicking for that game. Minnesota defense versus Chicago. I figured that, you know what, Chicago's not that great because Caleb Williams kind of sucks. Washington defense against New York Giants. New York Giants look great, but with Dan Quinn there as the defensive coordinator as the Cowboys, who put up so many points. Now he's the head coach. That defense has been amazing. So they can put up a lot of points. So our defenses are pretty even. It kind of sucks to say, but given what I think Jaden Daniels can do, Drake London, and Bucky Irving, I think that Brad's actually going to win this week. Unfortunately for me, Saquon didn't do enough. Obviously, these two people. So I'm giving this week to Brad, but we'll see what happens. All right, so on to the second matchup. It looks like the Kings versus Ron Mexico. Like I said earlier, Justin Fields is not an accurate quarterback. That's tough, but they might be doing a lot of tush pushing against Pittsburgh. And as you've seen with Jalen Hurts, though, in our league, when you only get 4 points per touchdown, those rushing touchdowns add up. So Justin Fields might put up some good points, like 20 points, but Lamar Jackson, he can do the exact same thing: rush for 2, throw for 3. It is against Buffalo, which I feel like will be a shootout because both guys are high caliber. So I'm gonna have to give that one to Lamar Jackson for sure. Probably could put up like 40 to 50 points, which is crazy, but that's what he does. Justin Jefferson versus T. Higgins, so at least he gets to wait till the Monday night game to see what Jefferson can do if he has to play any catch up. T. Higgins, if there's a lot of double coverage on Chase, whatever his name is, Chase. You know who Chase is. Not Chase Brown, but the other Chase, Jamar Chase. I think he could actually, catch 4 passes for 80 yards, maybe 2 touchdowns. So, especially against Cleveland, where Joe Flacco is going to be airing it out like crazy. I think it's going to be a shootout over there, and that's kind of what it was with Cincinnati last year. So, obviously the edge always goes to Jefferson, but it's pretty close. Tatoria McMillan. So I don't know much about this rookie other than he was drafted pretty high. I know with the exit of Adam Thielen that he's going to be pretty good. He's going to be the number 1 out there, and fantasy football is all about opportunity. So against Garrett Wilson, who has Justin Fields throwing to them, that's going to kind of negate the points for Justin Fields unless he's rushing him in there. But Garrett Wilson was a guy that I was told to avoid when I was going through my fantasy drafts just because of the downgrade in quarterback. So that'll be interesting to see how that. So, 48-52 so far. It is going to be a pretty close game between these two. Ashton Genty, I'm not really into rookie guys, and I heard the Las Vegas O-line hasn't been doing that well, but the talent from Genty is supposed to be insane. So 14.21 seems reasonable. Derrick Henry, Mr. Consistent. I've seen him doing workouts with rubber bands and all the crazy things he does. Hill sprints. Puts however much money into his body to keep him ready to go, and he's an actual beast, a phenomenon that hasn't been the things he did in high school and does in the NFL are insane. So it's fairly even, but I would give the edge to Henry because it's proven. DeAndre Swift now back with his old offensive coordinator, who is the head coach. A lot of opportunity, but he was only getting, I think, 3.6 yards per carry, which is pretty low for him. He wasn't getting too many touchdowns either, and that's why he's probably at 10.95, where Kyron Williams was pretty much scoring a touchdown per game last season. It was guaranteed if you were betting on him. I think I saw if you parlayed that, he would score a touchdown in a game and just kept doubling up. It ended up in the hundreds of thousands, which is crazy. So, but also when you're a workhorse like that, it takes a toll on you, right? Brock Bowers and Mark Andrews. So there's no Isaiah Likely that's going to be at the game, and I feel like Mark Andrews is a really frustrating guy to work with. because he was so hit or miss with Likely out there. So I think he'll be good as long as Likely's not out there. He still managed to score 11 touchdowns, but he really was like get you 0.06 points or 0.6 points or whatever, 6 yards, and then all of a sudden he got 24 because he got 3 touchdowns in one game kind of thing. So obviously Brock Bowers has the edge there because he is a phenomenal rookie who's breaking records on a team where they're probably going to check down to the tight end a lot. So Travis Hunter, that's interesting. We don't have IDP players, but if we did, you can actually play him as an IDP player, which gives him a lot more advantage in other leagues. He is the number 2 out there in Jacksonville, but I don't see him as a phenomenal player, especially with Jerry Jeudy on the other side and Joe Flacco, who's going to sling it for 500 yards, probably 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions and still lose the game. But he'll be slinging it, which puts Judy's value up for sure. Brandon Aubrey, in my opinion, is the best kicker in the league. And Chase McLaughlin, I don't know much about. So I'm going to give the edge to Brandon Aubrey. He's already got 11 points over his projected. Cincinnati defense at Cleveland. I think, there's some room for pick 6 there. Houston at LA Rams. I don't know how I really feel about that one because Matthew Stafford is popping off with Devontae Adams and Puka. The defense is amazing as far as rookies. On Madden, they're insane, especially their D-line and their corners. But that's a tough one. The Rams are sneaky good. So when it comes to this one, I think I would give the edge to Ron Mexico based on Lamar Jackson and the fact that he has Garrett Wilson, who should be stealing any throwing touchdowns from Justin Fields. Justin Jefferson should put up some really good points, though. He did have a hamstring issue that you never know, it might flare off. They can take him off the whatever to say he's okay. Chicago, they've been developing. I like the running backs on this side better. And like I said, Andrews without Likely. Don't know anything about Travis. I'll give a slight edge to Ron Mexico. So we aren't even halfway there, but I probably shouldn't be doing a shot this late. But cheers to the new season. I just won a little bit of money at the casino and ate infinite snow crab. Ooh, that's gonna ruin my sleep for sure. But let's move on to Cooper and Matt. So both quarterbacks put up a lot of points. Justin Herbert is sneaky good. 28 points in our league where quarterbacks only get 4 points per touchdown is actually amazing. And I think if he stays healthy, he could do really well. Hurts obviously uses his feet. It showed up here though. Hurts got his 2 touchdowns. Herbert did what I thought he would do, so it's a pretty tight race right now. Brian Thomas Jr. I love. He was amazing. He's going into his 2nd year with his quarterback, and that's when people explode. Nico Collins definitely even, so this is even here, especially with Tank Dell out for the season and Christian Kirk, who is out for the next game, so he's going to get fed for sure. His athleticism is nuts. Devontae Smith had a really sad night, but that's kind of how it works. He is a Heisman Trophy winner, and I would have picked him up for sure because he could be explosive like he was in the Super Bowl that they won. Puka Nacua, everybody knows who he is. He's a target hog. As long as Matthew Stafford stays healthy, he'll be awesome. So I can see why there's an edge right now for breezy money because of Devontae Smith. Jeremiah Gibbs is way better than Christian McCaffrey, who is 1 year removed from the Madden curse. And he's already questionable. I'm sure he's going to play, but that definitely has to be scary for people who picked McCaffrey up. I think he got him. Let's see how much he got him for. So he got him for $45, which isn't too bad. It's still a large amount in your cap to spend, but you got to take those risks. I would take Chuba Hubbard over Kenneth Walker. There's a backup who's waiting to take Kenneth Walker's spot. And Chuba Hubbard, there also is Rico Dowdle in the back that they just picked up, who's trying to take his spot as well. So a lot of people told me to avoid Kenneth Walker because of Charbonneau, and I was heavy on to Chuba Hubbard, which is why I would take Hubbard over Walker. Hawkinson versus Goddard. Goddard is just a regular person. Hawkinson is a sneaky pick because he's been injured for a while, but he was amazing when healthy. One person that I don't like is Chris Olave. He's had 4 concussions in the last 2 years. But I also don't like Jaden Waddle at all. So both these guys I was actually told to avoid on everything. I had them red on my draft list. So it's anything can happen, right? But I wouldn't want either of those guys on my team personally. But they both are phenomenal players. Jake Bates, the Detroit kicker, don't know much about him, but Detroit, they do score a lot of points. And then Fair Baron, obviously probably in the top 3 for kickers. So yeah, that's a good choice there. Denver defense, in my opinion, is one of the best defenses out there. Baltimore as well, but they are playing the last year's MVP, Josh Allen, who's amazing. So I would take Denver defense for sure, which is always 11.161 to 7.52. And I think that even with the shoddy picks, in my opinion, well, Devontae Smith kind of screwed him over. It'll end up close, but I think Breezy Money takes this one. So, right. So Randy Marsh versus Ty and Denon. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase stack versus Josh Allen, the MVP. And I watched the Hard Knocks, and Josh Allen's pretty cool, but I also watched the QB one, and Joe Burrow is Joe Cool. And you got Jamar Chase, who's absolutely insane as far as run after the catch. And these guys are in a different wavelength. It's like they're using the force. Before the ball even gets there, it's out there. Like it's on a rope that just ends up in Jamar Chase's hands. So there's a chance for 50 points with a stack like that. But also Josh Allen can put up 50 points on his own. Tyreek Hill, he's old. He's going through a divorce. He had 5 kids last year, and he had 5 touchdowns last year. So I don't know how many kids he's having this year. If it's 0, he might have 0 touchdowns. He wasn't someone I was high on. He just lost his captain's patch as well over there. So there's a lot of turmoil in Miami right now. And I've heard rumors about him being traded even to the Cowboys. But I would take Jamar Chase over Tyreek Hill any day. Obviously, any of you guys would. When I look over and also see Ladd McConkey over there, and Ladd McConkey today, luckily I got to watch some of the game. He looks insane. So he's better than Devontae Adams right now, in my opinion. But he put up 10.4 points, which is good. Devontae Adams has a chance to put up more, especially with Matthew Stafford, who's an incredible quarterback. But Ladd McConkey, I feel like, is the better pick. And Devontae Adams still can put up points. Breece Hall, I was told to stay away from, as well as James Conner a little bit. James Conner, he misses at least 2 to 3 games a season for the last 4 seasons, but he is Mr. Reliable. He just needs to put up points no matter what. He'll get you 10 to 12 points per week when he's playing, even more sometimes. So they like to feed him the rock. Breece Hall, I think he was on a downward slide for the final 6 games of the season, and against good run defenses, he wasn't very good. There's also a guy named Braylon Allen behind him who has a lot more explosiveness. So that was another reason I was told to avoid him. So that's a tough one there. It seems pretty even. RJ Harvey, he actually isn't the starter. Dobbins is. And Trayvon Henderson has been a start in a bunch of videos I've seen. So people are pretty hype about him. David Njoku, I already talked about him and about how I feel like he's going to shine. I think he's going to get 100 yards and a touchdown this first week. Dalton Kincaid, though, does have the MVP, so he could do pretty well as well. And then these guys just made a trade too. So Marvin Harrison Jr. I was told to avoid him. So, but also Zay Flowers is going to be working in a system where they run a lot. So it was a very even trade as far as how trades go, in my opinion. Because Marvin Harrison, man, he's literally the son of somebody who is a beast and a Hall of Famer and one of the best to ever do it. And Zay Flowers, though, he is insane. Lamar Jackson's insane. He'll be Lamar's number 1 go-to. But both of them, they're nothing phenomenal, but they could be incredible. So that was an even trade. Younghoe Koo, China number 1. He's pretty good when it comes to kicking field goals. So that's a good kicker. Bears defense, that is obviously an emotional pick on that side. I feel like they're going to get destroyed this whole year. They do have a really good middle linebacker who I took in my IDP leagues because he tackles everything, but that doesn't make any sense. And then Philly defense, if Jalen what's-his-face didn't spit on Dak Prescott, probably would have been a bigger blowout. They do have a really good defense, but he got 6 points only. I think this week with this stack here, I think with the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Lab McConkey getting pretty close. Nothing to get away on the running backs there. I'm pretty sure that Brandy Marsh will probably win this one. So moving on to the Hefty Sluggers and the Dire Wolves. We have Baker Mayfield versus Bo Nix. And I think Bo Nix is sneaky good. But Baker Mayfield's awesome, where he's come from and what he's done. He has amazing receivers and a Super Bowl caliber team. But in my opinion, so do the Broncos. So that's a tough one there. Bo Nix is rated slightly higher. Probably because it's against Tennessee, so it might be a shootout. But Tampa Bay and Atlanta had a shootout as well, so I'd say they're even there. CeeDee Lamb literally could have had 250 yards and probably a touchdown if he caught some of his passes. But 15 points is 15 points, and A.J. Brown only got 1.3 points, so he's leading there. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he caught 400 passes a day for 18 years of his life. Amazing receiver. On the other hand, we have Calvin Ridley, who is the #1 in Tennessee with a quarterback who was drafted first overall. And this quarterback holds his teammates accountable, shows up, I heard he shows up at 5 a.m. every day. Like, he doesn't even leave the facility. So I'm excited to see what Tennessee does. So Calvin Ridley's actually sneaky good. Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously we know what he can do. But it's all about opportunity when it comes to fantasy football. So that's pretty even. Caleb Johnson, the running back. So I'm not too... Bijan Robertson, Caleb Johnson. Like, ooh, Caleb Johnson's definitely the backup in Pittsburgh. That's why he's got 7.97 points projected. Bijan Robinson is literally the top running back. So there's a massive swing there. Chase Brown, like I said, the Bengals are going to pop off having Chase Brown. And I was going to name my team I Chase Brown Kids if I got Chase Brown. But I actually didn't get Chase Brown, but I'm excited for those two running backs for sure. Travis Etienne could be replaced by Tank Bigsby any day. My camera keeps freezing, so I had to restart that. But George Kittle versus Tyler Warren. So I heard a lot of things about Tyler Warren. He's supposed to be starting today. When you start him, sit him. George Kittle, for me, even though he had a great season, he was hit or miss. It was 3 catches for 25 yards, or it's 3 catches for a touchdown and 150 yards. So that was really frustrating when I had George Kittle. I don't know anything about Tyler Warren, so George Kittle is proven. I will give the advantage to the Hefty Sluggers on this one. Ricky Pearsall picking up bullets, taking all those shots, coming back last year. He could be the starter over there. Between him and Juwan Jennings, I know that Ayuk is healing up, so we'll see what he can do, but people are super hype on him. Stephon Diggs, though, personally, like, he's just a hilarious player. Like, all those things about dating people's sisters and stuff, but he's been working out hard, too, in Patriots camp, and Landon's probably been watching those Patriots camp, the same ones I picked up Stephon Diggs as a sleeper. He's been looking pretty good, but that's an emotional pick probably. Ricky Pearsall, though, is still also a gamble as well, so it's pretty even there. Tyler Bass, Buffalo's kicker, is on injured reserve, apparently, but still projected to get 4.76 points. I don't know what that means. Jake Elliott at a solid 8 points this week. Pittsburgh defense against the New York Jets. Like I said, what's his face at QB on the Jets? Probably going to throw some picks, and they could be pick sixes. San Francisco defense at Seattle, I feel like should be rated higher. I don't know why people think Sam Darnold and Seattle will do that well. They are projected from some experts to not even win a game. So that's pretty even on defenses. For this game, I'm going to give the advantage to... it's going to be tight. I really can't choose anyone because of what A.J. Brown probably would have gone to Direwolves based on his running backs, but it could be anybody's game, to be honest, so I can't make a pick on this one. So good luck to both. And last but not least, the two brothers from another mother. Ye who have little faith. I love how he changes his name to that. That's great. And then the Giant Rock Stars, who Patrick Mahomes went way above projected, and still he's the underdog. And Travis Kelce went above projected, which is interesting. So that's a nice little stack right there, and it seems to have paid off a little bit. Malik Neighbors is an actual beast who I was willing to spend $80 on, but I couldn't click fast enough. And Rue got was it 70 or 80? But Rue got a pretty good deal in my opinion. I would have been fine paying good money for him because I needed a top guy. I ended up with Saquon Barkley, but I feel like Neighbors is a beast. Kyler Murray, he can dance around, get you a lot of rushing yards for sure. JSN is now sharing reps with Cooper Kupp, and they're both slot receivers, so I didn't really like that pick. But I do like the DJ Moore pick, the Devon Achane pick. He's got a calf injury, and calf injuries can lead to torn Achilles, so I don't know if they took the injury designation off because they're just going to use him as a decoy. But if he goes out there and plays, like, I don't know if he'll last the full season, so I did not like that pick, especially against a workhorse like Josh Jacobs. Obviously, the explosiveness of Achane is there, but like I said, the injury could literally be devastating. Terry Scary McLaurin just got paid, and he has Jaden Daniels. Somehow he catches 5 catches for 200 yards sometimes. He's a really good receiver, especially for his height. He goes under the radar. Not really my top pick. I think against the Giants he'll do really well. Rue's second pick, Austin Eckler. So he is the starting running back in Washington, but he is pretty old. Jonathan Taylor, Twin ended up paying $68 for him, and that's because I was bidding him up. I was willing to almost go to 70 because I really wanted to go back-to-back running backs. But Twin got him, which is great, especially if Achane's going to be out for a little bit. Jonathan Taylor, he's going to get all the carries, especially with Daniel Trash Jones, which I'm sure the Giant Rock Stars know all about. So Jonathan Taylor has a lot more opportunity. Twin definitely destroys in the running back category as long as Devon Achane stays healthy. Kyle Pitts with Phoenix Jr. might be a sneaky pick, but he's, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 3 times, fool me 4 times, fool me 5 times. It might be 5 times Kyle Pitts fools some of his owners. So Travis Kelce's a more reliable option there. Kyle Pitts, he might get you 20 yards. He might just go insane and end up as tight end number 1. So that's a tough one to decide there. James Cook, I was told to stay away from all of my expert drafts. He did just get paid. He's a great running back, but he wasn't, as far as how I felt about him, he wasn't someone I was going to pick, which is why I feel like Twins team is hurting this year, even though he thinks, and that's probably why he thinks I have little faith, which I do. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of faith in James Cook. We'll see what happens there. Kahil Shakir, he is with the MVP. He's a speedster for sure, working out of the slot, which is awesome. And he could put up massive numbers. So both these teams have some sneaky players. And other than Neighbors and Taylor, on the other hand, I don't think anything's 100%. But that's me. Harrison Butker, 11 points, which is great this week. Will Lutz on a great Denver team, which I think will kicking a lot and putting up a lot of points. Is a great pick. Arizona defense against New Orleans, that's a streamer pick for sure. New Orleans is actually going to be terrible this year. They're another team that might go winless. So the Arizona Cardinals are definitely a good pick this week. And then Casey against the Chargers, who were sneaky good and won the game. And only ended up with 5 points. So that kind of panned out there. So for this game, I might have to. For this game, if Achan actually plays, I think Twin has a chance to win. If he doesn't actually play, I'm pretty sure that Rockstar Rue's going to take this one. So that's how I feel about it. Gave you a breakdown on all your teams and how I felt about them, boys. I'm excited